Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Belichick's Bitches Podcast, the number one podcast in the world by some sort of metric, using the best source, the only source. Do you trust me? I'm your host, Brennan, and as long with me as always is my co host, Tyler.
What are the odds, like the over under, on you messing up the intro one day?
I think they're pretty good, but it hasn't happened yet.
It's gonna happen eventually. I don't know how you keep saying it correctly because I know damn well I would completely not. But uh, you know, it's gonna happen once, and I feel like I need to have like some type of like
You're gonna have
sound cue
something
ready
ready
for when it
for it.
does. You know, I'm gonna bring up like like a birthday party. Go, wee! Like that's what I'm gonna pull up when you time to mess it up. All right. Anyway,
Like one
off
of those
topic.
things you just stick in your mouth, goes brr,
Ah,
brr.
anyway, okay. So before we get into the storylines for the week, we're trying to start up a little Madden League for the podcast. It's gonna be on Xbox because, well, it doesn't work PlayStation, so
Yeah,
pretty awful.
he has both. I
But
only have Xbox.
we're gonna try to get one set up. You want to join? You know, running up on Twitter. You comment in the YouTube video if you're watching on Spotify. I'm sorry. Um,
I haven't been putting the episodes on Spotify for a while anyway.
you haven't?
It's pretty much all been on YouTube.
Oof. Oh, so much I don't even know about my own podcast. Um,
Yeah.
anyway, so if you do
Yeah,
contact
just
us, we'll add you
feel
to the
free to leave a
league.
comment.
Yeah.
I'll probably put our Twitter links in the description. You can message us there on Twitter.
Yeah. All right. So storylines, what people come here for. It was a pretty good week.
Yeah, it wasn't
Football,
bad.
a lot
Well,
better
it
than
wasn't a
the
good
last
free for
couple
you.
weeks. Well, no week's a good week for a Broncos fan. So
Yeah,
no,
especially
but
nowadays.
yeah, but so we actually started off with we're recording it on a Thursday, so of course Thursday night game's actually about to start. I think it already
Starts in
has
an
started.
hour.
Oh yeah, because it's on the West Coast. Um, so the Colts just it was tied going into halftime. I think right,
I believe so.
Colts and Titans
Yes.
game, and then the Colts just completely ran away with it in the second half. The Titans special teams were terrible, and
Their offense couldn't do
just
anything. The Colts defense in the second half just absolutely dominated the Titans.
yeah, and that's the thing about the Colts defense is they're so dominant at some stretches, but then some stretches they're just like,
They have the talent to be a really good defense. They just need a lot more. They just need to play with more consistency.
yeah. I think the secondary also needs a little bit of help,
Yeah,
and the interior of the D line needs to be more. Buckner's been good; he's been worth that first round pick, but he hasn't been at his Niners level yet.
no.
So he needs to get back up to that level. Yeah, it was a pretty good game. I watched, I think, the tail end of it. The game was pretty much over. Philip Rivers continues to win. How? How? He continues to win. So yeah. I don't know how long it's going to last, though. I just don't see it lasting in the playoffs. I feel like that Colts team is a piece or two on offense or defense away, at least in my opinion. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm
Bum.
here. Sorry,
Okay. Jeez.
someone just walked in. My mom just walked in the room.
Did you watch the Bucks Panthers game by any chance? Did you have it in your area?
No, I didn't have it in my area.
Didn't really miss much.
From the
I
score,
sadly had.
yeah, I didn't. It didn't seem like
I
I missed
sadly
anything.
had it. Yeah, it was the only thing that really happened that was worth noting. Yeah, the Bucks won, surprising, not really. Bridgewater played well, and then in about the late third quarter, Bridgewater stepped up in the pocket, and Jason Pierre-Paul got locked around on the right. And when he did that, he got blocked. He got out of the block, and then he was on the ground, and he dove at Teddy Bridgewater on the ground.
Hmm.
He dove right at his legs.
That's
Now,
roofing the passer.
that's what I thought too, and apparently the referees didn't think so. I think everyone and their mom thought that's a pretty dirty hit. I don't know if it was intentionally dirty, but it was illegal. And we'll talk about another roughing the passer call later that was completely bogus. But you look at this, and this was like the textbook definition of trying to protect the quarterback, protect their legs.
Yeah.
And Bridgewater, I haven't heard the severity of the injury yet. I haven't really been keeping up to date, but I hope it's not season ending because he's been really playing well. He's played well enough to keep the Panthers out of the tank for the quarterbacks. So, but man, it just sucks to see an
It's
injury to
on
Bridgewater like that.
NFL.com. It says Teddy Bridgewater unlikely to start versus Lions.
Doesn't surprise me. At minimum, he hyperextended it. It looked pretty gruesome when it happened. And then, but there was no flag, no fines, no nothing like that. I think that's pretty disappointing.
That's been the story this season. It seems pretty much though, especially with that Gator roll earlier on.
Yeah, that was bull. Other thing though was Antonio Brown had a pretty good game.
Yeah, Brady's. Well, I was looking at the box score stats, and it seems like the ball was spread around pretty evenly that game.
Yep. And that's going to be the Buccaneers' path to success this season. They have to get Antonio Brown up to speed in terms of how his production was when he was still top 5, in my opinion, top 3 receiver. And they need to get Evans, continue to keep him hot in the end zone, get Godwin back to full strength, and that could go as far as they want if those 3 guys play up to their potential. It's just that's what it's riding on.
Pretty much, yeah.
I feel like Brady's
the defense has been inconsistent.
Yeah, they shut down Aaron Rodgers, but then they struggled against Panthers. They struggled against Breeze, who can barely throw a football past 5 yards.
I mean, he's not going to be throwing a football for at least a week, next couple weeks maybe.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that in a little bit. That was I was so upset with that game. Giants Eagles.
What did I say earlier on, like a few weeks ago? I said I could still see the Giants winning this division. That this division was this bad. I mean, the Eagles, they lost to the Giants, but the Eagles are still in first place. I feel like the Giants have the best defense in that division thus far. I feel like they still have a chance to actually make playoffs in that division. Giants still have a chance to win the division.
Yeah.
I'd maybe put them as the favorite, actually. Personally. I might put the Giants as the favorite to win the NFC East as of right now.
Yeah.
Also, applause for Daniel Jones. Second game in a row without a turnover lost. I don't think he actually had a single turnover this last game, like even to potentially be lost.
He's improving. You know what's sad, and I hate that I agree with this. Jones, the last few weeks, has played the best of any other quarterback the NFC East.
Yeah.
I mean, Smith played pretty decent, but he's still a little inconsistent with his accuracy. And I mean, that's to be expected. We don't talk about Garrett Gilbert played an okay game against Pittsburgh, but who knows how long that's going to last. And Wentz has just been terrible. I feel bad because, I mean, I put Wentz in my top 10 quarterback, and
we both did.
He hasn't even been top 20 this year. He's been embarrassing.
I think he leads the league in turnovers
by a large margin.
Yeah.
And he's turned the ball over by himself 20 times, which is just insane. I don't know, and I feel like a part of that is because of Doug Peterson and Jim Schwartz. We're gonna blame the whole coaching staff for this one. Jim Schwartz, he just doesn't run an NFL defense anymore. His defense, I don't know, 8-9 years ago worked. It doesn't work with these high-powered offenses anymore. No. The soft zone, moving your number one corner around way too much. Like Slay was covering, third. I mean, they had times where Slay wasn't even covering Slayton. They weren't covering, I mean, I don't understand what they were doing with Slay. Such a good corner, and they don't even really utilize him. It's weird.
Yeah. I saw a stat from PFF about turnover-worthy plays.
Yeah.
And the top 4 this season for most turnover-worthy plays, Carson Wentz first with 23. Then you drop down to Josh Allen at 17. Lamar Jackson at 3rd and 15. And Drew Lock at 4th with 14. Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah, that's kind of okay. So Drew Lock has struggled a little bit.
A lot of it.
I feel bad for any Browns or Houston Texans fans
You did it
went
again.
out of their way to watch that game because that was just terrible and shouldn't have happened. And
Yeah, I thought that game would have been a lot higher scoring than it was. Like I saw it like on the TV when I went to go to a restaurant,
yeah,
and I saw it
no.
as like 10-7 in like the third quarter. I'm like, what is going on?
It was the weather because it was a weather delay to start the game.
Yeah, I saw that it was like a
And,
half-hour weather delay because like a huge monsoon or something like that hit.
and it was just, I think it was almost part of the same part that hit the New England game. The wind was crazy. The rain was terrible. I mean, both the conditions were just not good. And you
Not
combine that with the fact that the Browns and Houston don't really have good offenses already.
and that was Nick Chubb's
Yeah.
first game back.
But did you see what Nick Chubb did? I think he did. What
Yeah.
Nick Chubb did was freaking cool.
Yeah, he
Why
ran
don't you
out of bounds
explain
at the
it?
1 yard line so they could knee
It was
over,
cool.
so they could take a knee and just win the game that way instead of getting a touchdown.
I like it not only because it was classy, but I also like it because it pissed off fantasy owners. Because I even have Nick Chubb in fantasy, so I would be one of those owners. It pissed off Nick Chubb fantasy owners, and it pissed off the sports bettors. The Browns were +4,
Oh.
and the final score was 10-7. Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. Bettors were not happy with Chubb, but it was great. It was a great move and definitely a classy move too. I just liked it because it pissed people off. Yeah. Other than that, it was a terrible game, and I feel bad for anyone that actually took the time out of their day to watch it. I know I didn't.
I feel like that's been most Texans games this season.
I just feel bad for. This isn't going to be a one season issue.
No, it's
It's not something that they're just going to draft some good player
or
and then they're
find
going to
the
be
right
back
head
in the
coach
playoff
somehow.
run. This is going to be at minimum 2-year rebuild. It could be a 3 to 4 if how things play out. Why the Houston Texans owner?
I mean,
Bill O'Brien.
They don't have a draft pick till like the third or fourth round in this year's draft. So I'd probably take the over on it being over 2 years.
Well, I was talking to one of my buddies who's a Houston fan, and when the Laramie Tunsil trade happened, he was ecstatic. He's like, "We got our tackle. We got Watson. We got Hopkins." He thought they were going to the Super Bowl like most Houston fans did. But Tunsil trade's already backfired.
Yeah.
They have to pay him now, and they have no draft picks, and their team sucks. So you combine those three things, and it's going to be a really rough year for Watson. It's really eerily similar to Stafford in the Lions. Young, promising quarterback that's just going to be stuck in rebuilds, and it just sucks. Man.
Just stuck in purgatory.
Yeah, and he signed an extension too, so he's going to be there a long time. So bad for him. Feel good story though. Alex Smith started a game.
And he almost won the game.
Yeah, they had a really slow start. But he ended up throwing for, I feel like, over 350 for a lot. Had a really good game. Didn't throw a touchdown. Antonio Gibson had a huge day for me in fantasy, so that was cool. It's still Washington. It's never funny to watch. It's never fun to watch Washington. And Prater hit a bomb field goal for the win. That was cool, though.
Well, that's Matt Prater in a nutshell.
Matt Prater just needs to stop, man. He's like, what, 37, 38?
Yeah, he's up
still
there.
just booting.
Yeah. NFL
in the league.
Record longest kick holder.
That was 63.
64.
Oh, 64. I forgot
63
that.
was the previous record. It had been like tied like 7 times. And then Prater hit a 64-yarder and broke it.
There was a team that attempted like a 69-yard field goal.
The Panthers did with Joey Sly. It
was the Panthers.
It was a 67-yarder, and it had the leg. He had the distance, but not the accuracy. I believe it went wide right.
I remember seeing that on Twitter. It was really cool. But yeah, Prater is just insane. I really I want a kicker, man, for New England so bad.
I think you guys have more
Hot rod.
issues than needing a kicker.
I still I still can't believe New England drafted Justin Rawwasser, who can't even beat up an injured Nick Folk over Rodrigo Blankenship, who's like third in the NFL in scoring. Because
Respect the specs, man.
yeah. Anyway.
And Blankenship was
Okay, the
undrafted too.
49ers and Saints. Did you watch it?
Uh,
You watched the 49ers Saints
I
game?
watched a little bit of it. Yeah, that was not a good game to watch, to say the
So
least.
imagine when we saw this game in week one calendar, entering week one, we thought, oh, this is going to be a great matchup. You know, almost late in the season,
Nope.
two teams that are, oh my god,
Playoff bound.
it was pretty much a team that was like almost like it was purposely trying to lose against another team that was really intent on losing the game. Both teams were just not good there.
No.
I think the only player that showed up was Alvin Kamara.
Thank,
Every other player
thankfully
just took
for
the
my
game
fantasy
off.
team, yeah.
I needed Michael Thomas to score 15 points for me to win. He scored like 2. Jared Cook scored 0. No.
I mean, Alvin
Anyway,
Kamara didn't have a great game running the ball. He was 8 carries for 15 yards, but he did have 2 touchdowns. But in receiving, he was 7 for 83 and 1 touchdown.
I know it annoyed me because every time they got down to the goal line, he started just looking towards Kamara. I'm like, you have a 6'4" Michael Thomas over there, man. Anyway, it's not about fantasy. So the 49ers muffed 2 punts.
Yeah, special team play has been atrocious this season.
I guess that's because of the lack of preparation. I guess that would make sense.
Yeah.
But okay, so they muffed 2 punts. That gave the Saints. So then the refereeing was. I hate blaming refereeing games because it sounds like such a sorry
A cop out.
excuse.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the referee. The refereeing was terrible in the game, and it was mostly going against the Niners. I mean, you'd see phantom, holding calls on things that were not. There was a play, Trent
Yeah.
Williams. I think I told you about this one.
Yeah, I remember you texted
We're
me
running
about
to
it.
the right. They were running to the right. And right before the play snapped, he just slightly lifted his fingers off the ground. Just barely. And they called it an illegal formation. The rules expert said, well, yeah, okay, according to the rulebook, that's but he said, why are you looking right there? And how can you determine right before the snap he lifted his? It was because it was really quick.
Yeah.
It was just a terrible call.
Superman.
Then we get to the roughing the passer. It was my favorite call of the game. So Brady steps back and he gets someone on his right side just didn't block. I don't remember the assignment, but I think it was the right guard. He was just not blocking. And this number 95 on the 49ers, I don't know his name, came in and just rocked Breeze. Him square in the chest, evident by his injuries. And then when he fell down, he kind of fell on top of him, but he really didn't lean on him. He didn't really put up his weight on him. And they threw like a roughing the passer call, really late too. It set up another Saints touchdown. It was the second touchdown where they started they had no field position to go to, and Breeze ended up, I think, breaking a few ribs and puncturing his.
He cracked a few ribs and it was like
punctured lung.
Yeah, a collapsed lung. Yeah.
But he's only going to be out for a game, apparently, a game or two, which is.
Yeah, number 95 for the 49ers is Kentavious Street.
Yes, that's who it was. Remember his name, or his number, not his name, but man, it was a bad call, and the game was pretty much over at halftime. It was embarrassing. I still am not sold on the Saints. I don't care how many games they win.
Yeah, I'm
still not sold.
Yeah. They seem like a pretender to me. Like another pretender we're going to talk about here soon.
Oh no! I already know. But oh god, it was not it. And then so Winston played quarterback the second half because Breeze pulled himself because he knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
Winston looked like Winston. Didn't look great. Didn't look bad. He threw a couple weird balls, but he threw one really nice one to Alvin Kamara, of course. Uh, you know, I don't think the rumors of you're going to see Taysom. You may see Taysom Hill throw a trick pass, but
You
it's
might,
Taysom Hill. He's not a quarterback.
yeah, you might see him a bit more often now, but he's not going to be the starter.
If he's going to be anything out there, he's going to be anything out there for a voice of leadership. That's really what he is on the team, as a leader, that locker room. I think that's where Taysom Hill's value is. His value isn't really his play. I mean, his play is good for maybe like 40 rushing yards and may get a few receiving yards in a game, but he's
Good for about
definitely his
5 to
value
10
is the
snaps
leadership.
a game.
And he does some good stuff on special teams too.
Yeah.
But he's not going to be playing quarterback. He's not the franchise quarterback either. I hate that argument.
Have you seen it a lot? Because I sure haven't.
Well, apparently by Sean Payton it is.
Well, yeah, sure.
Steelers Bengals. I didn't watch this game at all. I didn't even keep up with it. All I know is that the Steelers just trounced the Bengals.
Huh? What?
There you go. You want to talk about the Steelers Bengals game? Because I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, I thought this could have been a game that the Bengals could have been competitive, especially the Steelers coming off of that game against the Cowboys. I thought this could have been a good game for Joe Burrow to maybe get an upset. No. No. That wasn't it at all. The Bengals just looked extremely sluggish. The Steelers just steamrolled them. That's really all there is to it.
Also, ESPN. I'm going to try to find it real quick. What we talking about? So T. Higgins has had a pretty good rookie season. I think, or is it? He's a first year player. Never mind, not rookie season. No, T. Higgins is a rookie. Never mind. I'm tripping. So ESPN did a NFL rookie rankings. Want to hear it?
Sure.
Number 10, Antoine Winfield. I keep missing lying. Anyway, the safety for the Buccaneers.
Yes, Antoine Winfield.
Mekhi Becton, pretty good choice. Antonio Gibson, I don't know about that as a fantasy owner. His numbers haven't
Top
really
10,
been.
no.
T. Higgins,
Yes.
number 7.
I agree with that.
James Robinson, number 6 for the Jags running back. Pretty good. Chase Young, I'm not sold on Chase Young yet because he still hasn't really.
Yeah, he hasn't produced at that beginning of the season level after coming back from that injury yet.
And that's, again, something that he needs to just prepare for. Number 4, Tristan Wirfs, who's been fantastic for the Buccaneers. Justin Jefferson at number 3. I haven't said a couple names yet. That's not a quarterback. I haven't said a couple names. I haven't said Chase Claypool, right?
Nope.
Number 2 is Joe Burrow. Number 1 is Justin Herbert. They just completely omitted Chase Claypool off the top 10.
I definitely would put Claypool on there over Gibson.
I think Claypool's been the best rookie receiver this year. I'd put him over Jefferson. I'd put him over Higgins. Higgins has had better, statistical numbers, but he's playing on a really worse team with not as many targets. Claypool is playing with Juju Smith-Schuster, James Washington, and he's still putting up great numbers. He's had 9 total touchdowns. Yeah, I'd give it to Claypool. Jefferson's been great this year.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah, that little ratings cost an uproar.
Imagine drafting Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson.
Imagine drafting N'Keal Harry.
Just in general, just imagine drafting N'Keal Harry.
Yeah, just imagine drafting N'Keal Harry. That's it.
Doesn't matter.
So you want to talk about those pretenders? You know who we're talking about.
Yeah, the pretenders of who I thought were pretenders last year as well. The Green Bay Packers. Somehow they get this mantra, they just go on this crazy streak. Everyone's like, oh, they're not pretenders this year, like people was talking about the last year, and then they go straight back to being pretenders again. There's how they almost lost to the Jaguars is amazing. The final score is 23-20 against 6th round rookie quarterback Jake Luton. The Packers offense and defense did practically nothing it was a boring game, honestly. Like, it wasn't a great game for either side. It was, the Packers, I pretenders, 100% pretenders. They're not a Super Bowl caliber team.
Yeah, they're not a Super Bowl caliber offense, and I don't think the defense is either. I mean, as much as Devontae Adams has played really well, and he's been injured, and he's been doing all that, I don't know if that type of offense is going to work in the postseason.
It's not a successful long term offense, not in the
I
slightest.
mean, Marquez Walden-Scantling has been the definition of being consistent. Um, there's really no true number three receiver. I don't really like their tight end core. I know Rodgers apparently does, but they've been banged up. I just don't see it. Packers continue to win these ugly games. I don't get it, man.
The only bright spot I really see from the Packers thus far is Jair Alexander's having a great year. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, he's and what's it's interesting is he's actually I think overtaken a few corners that I had over him going into. He's been playing really well.
Yeah.
He's definitely developed into a true number one, which has been nice to see.
Uh,
See, I'll let you. I'll
alright,
let you talk about your Broncos.
the Broncos
I'm sorry to
radio.
give you three games in a row, but I'll
So
take over after that.
I didn't get to watch the entire game, but I know what happened. I was at church for most of the game. Um, Drew Lock, like I've been saying as of recent, he is not the answer. This game definitely solidified that idea in my head. Drew Lock is not the answer. He has like maybe he'll have one good quarter a game. This 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 game he had nothing. There was nothing positive about this game. His footwork was terrible. His accuracy was terrible. His decision making was terrible. He almost got KJ Hamler killed, throwing into triple coverage, which ended up getting picked off, and KJ Hamler went vertical to catch the ball and got sandwiched by two safeties. Um, Actually, it was a corner and a safety. The other safety that was there in the triple coverage picked it off. He also threw, I think, two interceptions to Jeff Heath. Um, he ended the day with one touchdown, four interceptions. I think two of which were in the red zone. There's also a fumble from Deshaun Hamilton. And I think the stat was in the past 11 games, the Raiders had five total turnovers on defense. Yeah, they doubled that in one game playing the Broncos. The offense was terrible. Lindsey only got the ball four times. Again, that's more Pat Shermer. I don't know what he's doing, honestly. Melvin Gordon had a really good game. He was breaking tackles. That was his probably the best game I've ever seen him play. He was like the offensive line wasn't doing many things well in the run game, especially like Lindsey was getting hit in the backfield. So they decided to just stop giving the ball to Lindsey since he was getting hit in the backfield. Same thing was happening with Gordon, but he was able to get some yards after contact at least. Defense looked flat. The that wasn't a good game. We just got flat out embarrassed in every facet of the game. Um, I am absolutely calling for Tom McMahon to be fired. I know many other Broncos fans are. He's been our special team coordinator for like I think 3, 4 years. He's been here since Vance Joseph. I know that much. And our special teams has been absolutely terrible, and he still has a job for some reason. I'm assuming it as he's the best yes man in the NFL because he is a terrible special teams coordinator. Drew Lock is not the answer. He actually suffered an injury during this game. I think it was like bruised ribs or something like that. So he was limited in practice today, and it seems like the way that the coaching staff is talking about him, that the coaching staff is actually losing faith in Drew Lock, while the locker room hasn't. The locker room seems pretty tight around Drew Lock, especially with like if you've seen like Noah Fant's Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it seems likely. Well, there's definitely a possibility that Brett Rippon starts next week. Against the who are we playing? The who are we playing?
I have no idea.
How did I forget who we're playing? One sec, let me look this up. The Dolphins, that's right. There's a strong possibility Brett Rippon will be starting against the Dolphins. Honestly, even if Drew Lock's not fully injured, that'd probably be the smart move if you want to go with like the best quarterback that gives you the best chance of winning. Because Drew Lock has been terrible pre-snap, reading coverages, um, setting the O line, setting up blitz responses. Drew Lock hasn't done any of that, and that's Brett Rippon's entire MO. He's not a physically gifted quarterback, but he's very good mentally. Uh, that would be a strong suit going against a Miami defense that loves blitzing, that loves throwing exotic blitzes at you. Um, yeah, I think if Drew Lock is healthy enough to play, but Brett Rippon starts, it's over for Drew Lock in Denver.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's you can't afford to have too many bad games. It's not like it used to be where you get maybe 2-3 years to really develop. No, you got to produce results in the NFL pretty quick, even if you're not a first round top 10 pick. And I think that's definitely starting to show more and more. I mean, hell, Rosen got one season, you know, as the starter for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Locke, but still feel like he has the potential. But
Zach Wilson train.
Come to New England.
Get
Come to New England for a 4th-round pick. Yeah.
Get on track for Zach.
Yeah.
Get on track for Zach. Come on, Elway. Let's do it.
I would perfectly be fine with Belichick wasting a 4th on Locke. And even if he just doesn't even beat out whoever else we bring in, I'm perfectly fine with that.
I feel like Locke would beat out Stidham, but I don't know who else you guys would have in the building.
Who knows? We may draft and trade one. We never know.
Yep.
So speaking of the Dolphins,
I could see y'all being a Mac Jones competitor.
maybe. I feel like he'd be a very stereotypical New England quarterback.
We said the same
Tua.
thing about Jake Fromm.
Dude, I still think we should have drafted Fromm. I still stand by that. I don't care that he's like the 2nd or 3rd stringer on the Buffalo Bills. I stand by that we should have drafted Jake Fromm. Anyway, aside from that, I'm not talking about New England this week. I promise. I don't deserve to this week. So the Dolphins looked really good, which is the Chargers. Been impressed with Tua. He's proven me wrong so far. Again, keyword so far. It's been 2 games. He hasn't thrown a pick yet.
Yeah,
he did
really
fumble once, but
he had some turnover-worthy plays. But overall, I think he made a lot more NFL caliber throws this game than he did the last game. That drop pick by Kenneth Murray was that was a very questionable throw. But other than that, he had a pretty good game.
Sad as that was completed too somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand, man. Tua, the thing I think I like about Tua is he has that composure. I think more than anything, his arm I don't think is elite.
No,
at least yet. I don't even think his accuracy is elite, but his composure and the pocket and out of it is I think what's helping him. Like he doesn't take any unnecessary hits. I don't know if that's because of the injury and he got drilled that into his head when he was recovering. He doesn't take any unnecessary hits. If he really knows he's getting tackled, he's going down immediately. Take your yards and fall. And that's definitely a more veteran thing to look for. Hell, you see guys like Wentz that don't even know how to do that. He's been in the league, 5 years?
Yeah. Yeah, this is his 5th year, I believe.
Yeah. I still need to see it from Tua. I still need to see the zip on the ball doesn't look great yet. He threw some pretty passes on the end zone, like the one to Devontae Parker. Whew. He also made that tackle. Did you see the tackle?
No,
that was funny. So, Ed Karras, the former New England Patriots center, Muff did a terrible snap to Tua. So the ball got picked up, and the linebacker, I'm not sure who it was, started running. I think it was Perriman. Started running the other way. And Tua caught up around the 50 and just jumped on his back. Oh, wow. And slowed him down just enough to help with a gang tackle. It was great. But yeah, he has an assisted tackle. He has more tackles than interceptions. Anyway, okay, moving on. That was a bad joke.
Just a bit.
So the Seahawks, who
it was
played
such good of a
tonight,
joke. I forgot to laugh. Honestly.
I don't need this. Um, I've had a day. Um,
You're a very
the
tired
Seahawks had
man,
another bad
Lewis.
game. The Seahawks had another bad game. 3 weeks in a row. I don't know what
Yeah,
they're doing.
I don't know what's happened there. They just had this like explosion to start the season, and now they've kind of fallen back to earth in a way. But I think that they hit the ground a lot harder than most people would have expected them to.
One thing that is kind of promising though is I think their like skid started with that loss to the Cardinals. Now they get to play the Cardinals tonight.
Yeah, actually,
I
in
feel
10
like
minutes.
going to they're going to hopefully right that. Although the Cardinals are red hot right now, and I have all of the momentum in the world
This is
going
very
into
true.
tonight. We'll be talking about that in a second. But I mean, the only thing I can really say other than that is Russell Wilson has definitely had some boneheaded moves. The Rams, I don't know if they're legit yet because they've been again inconsistent. But hey, Goff's having a sneaky good season. Rams.
We're gonna see a matchup between two MVP candidates tonight.
It's true. Kyler Murray has and he wasn't talked about a lot going into the season as an MVP candidate. But whew.
No, people were talking about Drew Lock a lot more for some reason. It never made much sense to me.
Remember the ESPN redraft? I don't know if you remember
No,
that.
I didn't see
They
that.
did a redraft. They took Lock like it was the whole NFL.
Mm-hmm.
The whole NFL. They took Lock at 15. They took Murray at 17.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoever made that
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah. Yeah. They also took like Matt Ryan over Kyler Murray. Yeah. Yeah.
Alrighty
It wasn't a very good. One other thing that was noted during that game, and it wasn't a spectacular game, is Jalen Ramsey shut down DK whole game. Um, Jalen Ramsey, man, I don't know where this came from, but the last few weeks he's been on fire. He's been the best corner in the league this season, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
So there is one guy that's catching up to him. We'll talk about him in a minute.
Okay.
You probably already know.
Top 10 cornerback.
He is. I'm nailing it. Let it down. I'll talk about the Bills Cardinals game. That was just glorious. I guess that's a no.
What? It's time for your rant.
It's time. Oh, we didn't even talk about the Bills Cardinals. The Hail Mary.
That's the title of the episode, yeah.
Yeah, Hail Mary.
I thought
Beautiful
you just
Hail
wanted to get
Mary.
it out of the way.
Beautiful Hail Mary. That's all. Is that all you really can say? That it was just a beautiful Hail Mary, and it was one of the best catches we've ever seen. And that's really all you can say about it.
D-Hop is
Kyler
D-Hop.
Murray has a cannon.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really all you can say. Also, I'm not trying to dig at Madden, but why did DeAndre Hopkins' ratings go up for a Hail Mary? Just luck based.
Yeah, he's
Why?
now 99 overall, isn't he?
What a
Yep, he is.
Madden, bro. You need to tell me a Hail Mary makes a player better.
Apparently. Kyler Murray got an overall boost, only +1 though, so he's an 81 overall now.
You know the MVP of the league through 10 weeks, that 81 overall in Madden. Simulation football. No, this isn't Ryan Moody. We can't keep talking about Madden. We could rant all night.
We're just
Positive New England rant time. I think it's positive New England rant time. Okay, so
Kyler Murray
I'll
only
be
has
honest.
90 throw power.
Jesus. Stop talking about Madden. It's terrible.
I know.
Okay.
Hence why we're
So
starting to try to make a league.
I know just when we have 4 losses in a row and I make the Patriots rant a segment because I feel like we're going to lose every other game, somehow beat the Jets. Again, we probably shouldn't have. Then we beat the Ravens. Sunday Night Football. somehow, some way. How it happened, I don't know.
Yeah,
Amy and Harris
my
is.
friend who was a Pats fan was pissed about that. I just texted in the group chat, "Go Patriots!" This is probably the first and the last time you're ever gonna hear me say that. He was
But
mad.
New England went from battling having a top 10 draft pick a couple weeks ago to being right behind the Ravens for the last playoff spot.
Yeah,
You know, I don't know how it happened, man. We just our offense isn't exciting. I mean, how do you have an exciting offense when you have no weapons? Only thing I really like about again, Jacoby Myers. I remember. I don't know if you remember this. It was like week 2 or week 3 on the podcast. I said Kobe Myers needs to get playing time because he's the best receiver we had, even when we had Edelman. That Jacoby Myers is the best receiver we had. He's proving that Jacoby Myers is the goddamn best receiver we have. He'd be a wide receiver 2 or 3 on most teams, probably a wide receiver 4 on a few. He's the best receiver we have, and he's been playing really well. Him and Damian Harris and Rex Burkhead, they're pretty much just carrying the offense on their backs, and that's not going to sustain. People are talking about New England for the Super Bowl. Of course, we started winning again. New England Super. It's not going to happen. If we make playoffs, I think we'll be lucky. Um, I'm excited. I mean, I'm just happy to win. You know, that we messed our tank chances up on the Jets, so we might as well win as many games as we can now.
I
I
mean
was
you
happy
still
with
can
it.
tank. I
Nah.
mean,
I was happy with it. I'm not. I wasn't excited with Cam's performance. He missed a lot of throws. Uh, when I say missed throws, he only threw in 3 incompletions, but he keeps throwing passes like behind Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers is just such a freak that he somehow catches them. I don't know how he does it. Myers is going to have a ruptured spleen by his 3rd year in the season because he keeps freaking extending himself to catch these passes. I feel bad for Myers' spleen, but I would take an insurance policy out on it if I was him. He's been playing really well, and Cam still didn't throw a touchdown. Oh, he threw 1 touchdown to Rex Burkhead. I'm sorry. Did he? He didn't. Did Jacoby Myers threw a touchdown pass? Also, quick note: Chris Collinsworth.
now here's a guy.
Did you? How much of the Patriots game? I swear, dude. Before this game, I guarantee you, only 1% of people who watch New England knew Jacoby Myers played quarterback in high school. I would be shocker. I didn't know. Okay, I think everyone in the goddamn country knows now. Because every time Myers made a catch after that touchdown pass, I don't know what you heard? Hey, that's what a quarterback's mind does. Hey, that's what happens when you got a quarterback at receiver. Hey, that's what happened. He played high school football. Quarterback. If he was a good quarterback, he would have played it in college.
How do you think?
You know,
How do you think I felt during Philip Lindsay's rookie year? Do you know
he went
Philip Lindsay
undrafted.
undrafted
Did
out
you
of
know?
Colorado? He's a local kid. Went to played for Denver's futures program.
Dude, and it's like Collinsworth. I get it. It's cool. It's a cool thing to say because you really can't say much else about New England's offense because we're not good. I understand. Stop it. Yes, he was a quarterback in high school, like a lot of athletes. Yes. Move on. Anyway, like
I mean,
Jacoby Myers.
technically, I
Okay,
was a
well, last time
quarterback
on
in
this,
high school.
Jacoby Myers caught a 3-yard pass, dove for the first down marker. You know what Collins said? Well, that's what happens when you're a quarterback. You know right where those chains are. Every receiver in the NFL knows where the chains are. Okay, there's not a receiver out there that doesn't know where the first down marker
I
is
have
unless
as
they're
much
just
high school
really stupid.
experience as quarterback as Jacoby Meyer does.
You know, like now if it's a guy like Edelman who played college football as a quarterback and was drafted as a quarterback slash receiver,
Yeah.
okay, you can make the argument. I'm for it. Can't make the argument for high school football. Okay. Just because I was a high school water boy doesn't mean that I could go out there and be a referee. Okay. Saying that, moving on. Stupid. Collinsworth annoys me.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Anyway. And then all, yeah. And Monday Night Football was a joke. I said it. Bite me.
I mean, That game
Kirk
was
Cousins is now
garbage.
1 of 10.
At least I predicted it right. I said that the Vikings would win, it just not in the way I thought they would.
Yeah, Nick Foles had a pretty bad injury. I
Yeah.
haven't heard what it is. I do know that the Bears brought in Deshaun Kaiser for a workout. Pretty scary. That's pretty much it. Yeah, it was a pretty bad game. So there wasn't much to comment. And of course, Delvin Cook. I can't be mad at Delvin Cook because he has won me way more fantasy matchups than he should have.
Hmm.
But Delvin Cook, bro, you kind of sold me. I needed like 40, and you didn't get 40. How dare you?
How dare you not get 40 points?
There was literally people on Twitter stuff that was like, "How dare you not give me 40 points?" Like, he's not gonna put up 200 yards or 3 touchdowns every week. Okay. Yeah, I would have lost regardless because my team sucks.
I know the feeling.
There was a couple things going on during the week, but the only one that really like shocked me. So teams, I didn't know this. They submit players for the Pro Bowl voting.
Yep.
PR department actually pitches it to the NFL. I didn't know that. Apparently, it's like that from what Pat McAfee said on his podcast.
Yeah.
Pat McAfee said that the teams pitch their player of the weeks. If a kicker has a really good week, they'll pitch it to the special team. I didn't know that either.
I didn't know the player of the week thing. I knew about the Pro Bowl thing.
So New England initially left J.C. Jackson off the Pro Bowl.
Yep.
So it's safe to say that the fan reaction.
I noticed that before, like I actually heard about it because I went to go vote for the Pro Bowl because I saw like a link or something on it. And at cornerbacks, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look around. It's like J.C. Jackson leads a really good interception. I might as well vote for him. I go down there. I was like, apparently I can't vote for him. Okay.
Yeah, and it was fixed. But man, the reaction on Twitter was not good. I was pissed too because I know he got burnt by Perriman that one time, and he's been a little inconsistent. But he's stepped up as the number one, and I think he's done better than expected. Keeps getting interceptions. I don't know how. When he got this week was kind of lucky because Lamar just kind of threw it into double coverage for no reason. So Lamar has been struggling this season. I don't get it. But hey, we'll take it. But yeah, J.C. Jackson's going to be in the Pro Bowl. And if I'm being biased, which I probably am, I would say he's been playing like a top 7 corner. I said top 5. I feel like that's too biased, but he's improved since the preseason rankings I did.
Also, if we want to talk about Pro Bowl voting,
jeez,
we gotta talk about Yannick Ngakoue.
You have to explain this. This is great.
So, a bunch of Jags fans, and I also believe Packers, Bears, and Lions fans are in on this. They are voting Yannick Ngakoue to the Pro. Well, they're trying to vote Yannick Ngakoue to the Pro Bowl, because if they vote if Yannick Ngakoue makes the Pro Bowl, that means that the 5th-round pick the Vikings originally traded to the Jaguars will become a 4th-round pick. And there's another caveat. I believe the other caveat is if Yannick Ngakoue wins the Super Bowl with the Ravens and makes a Pro Bowl, then that 4th-round pick would then turn into a 3rd-round pick for the Jaguars. So the entire NFC North, except for the Vikings and the Jacksonville Jaguars, are trying to screw over the Vikings to get the best picks for the Jaguars as possible by voting in Yannick Ngakoue to the Pro Bowl. So if you want to take part in that effort, then go vote for Yannick Ngakoue in the Pro Bowl. You there?
Sadly, I am exhausted. All right, so that's pretty much it for our weekly. I think the main storylines, right?
What do you think? How do you think the Patriots finish this year?
Okay, I'm gonna speak in the most objective way possible. Okay, I'm not gonna try to do any bias.
Mm-hmm.
Remaining games we have are Texans, Cardinals, Chargers, Rams, Dolphins, Bills, Jets. Okay, this is good. Okay, so here's how I see it. If we play like we did against Baltimore, I think is the peak of what our offense can play at. If we do that, I see us beating Houston. Do not see us beating the Cardinals. Do see us beating the Chargers. That's 2 wins. I don't see us beating the Rams. I don't see us beating the Dolphins. I don't see us beating the Bills. I don't see it. Even if we play at that level that we did against Baltimore,
That's a
don't
Monday
see
night
it.
game.
No.
I can see
And that
this.
game, a lot of that game was an anomaly. The weather was terrible. You know, Ravens were playing historically terrible and throwing the ball. No, you're not going to get what Lamar did against Buffalo. You're not going to get that against Arizona. No, so your offense is going to have to score more than 20 points. I don't think that's going to happen. I say the most realistic way we finish is we beat Houston and then we go on a 4-game losing streak. Cardinals maybe beat the Chargers. We lose to the Rams. We lose to the Dolphins. We lose to the Bills. And I think we beat the Jets week 17.
That's
It's
fair.
like oh yeah, we won another game.
That's fair.
We're not making playoffs. We're not winning the Super Bowl. Stop. You know what? I'm gonna do something.
What?
I am so confident we're not winning the Super Bowl. This is definitely gonna come back to bite me, but I am so confident we're not winning the Super Bowl. I will get a tattoo of the Super Bowl trophy on my arm if we win the Super Bowl this year. Do it.
All right.
I'm that confident we're not going to. You can write it down.
I mean, it's
Save
already
you.
on video evidence, so.
Let's do it. Might as well. Sorry, parents, if you hear this. I'll do it because it's not happening. So,
Yeah.
I don't mind saying it. If it does happen, well, I'm the most spoiled fan ever. that would be insane. It would be cool to watch, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. Yeah, with the Broncos, our next games are Dolphins, Saints, Chiefs, Panthers, Bills, Chargers, Raiders. And right now we're 3-6. Winnable games. I think the only winnable games are Panthers and Chargers. So at worst, we go 3-13. At best, we go 5-11. With either wins or losses to the Panthers or Chargers.
Yeah.
Which should be a
still
bona
feel
fide
like
top 5 pick, hopefully.
Yeah. And hopefully you'll get yourself a quarterback.
Zach Wilson. Come on.
When Zach Wilson. So, of course, Therese Hall has an injury. New England, can you please stop
Wait,
with
what
the
happened?
injuries? It's okay. This linebacker, like undrafted rookie linebacker, who was just starting to play well, got hurt because, of course. Oh man, New England is playing Houston. I mean, in a 12 o'clock game. That means I just get to get the suffering over early. Yay. Okay. So, game of the week. We can't do the Cardinals Seahawks as much as we'd all like to. You have as game of the week.
I'm going to go with Rams and Buccaneers.
It's going to be a good game.
I
Monday night
like
too.
the Rams have a chance to solidify themselves as a threat. At least a wild card threat if they beat the Buccaneers on Monday Night Football.
Yeah. Well,
What about you?
I don't think this is going to be a good game. I think this is going to be a fun game to watch. I really can't wait to see how bad Philadelphia and Cleveland really is. I feel like that's going to be just a complete barn burner. And I feel like it's Cleveland, who I'm not high on, and it's Philadelphia, who I feel like intentionally is going to be trying to throw the game. And they have Doug Peterson, so they don't really have much of an issue with that right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to choose that. That's going to be such a fun game. I'm going to be switching between that and New England the game. It's going to be fun.
Also, let's go ahead and give a word of note to Justin Herbert that he is playing the Jets. just don't get hurt. You're playing the Jets. They have Greg Williams as their defensive coordinator, and I saw what they did to Denver in the late fourth quarter. So stay safe, Justin Herbert.
Okay, so I have a college player, I'd imagine.
Yes, I do. What do you think I was going to go into a week without a college player?
Yes.
My list, I still have like 4 players on my list until I have to start adding more players. So this college player of the week is a safety out of Syracuse, the Big Orange, Andre Cisco.
Huh.
He is 6 foot, 203 pounds. His pros, great ball production. He's very aggressive when going after the ball. He has led the ACC in interceptions in both 2018 and 2019, and he had one interception in the 2 games he's played this year before suffering a lower leg injury that will cause him to miss the rest of the season. I believe he had surgery on it. He's aggressive when the ball's in the air, and for a defender, he has good hands. He has good hands for a defender. He attacks well as a tackler. Pretty aggressive in that sense. Great size and build. His hips and his feet are also pretty fluid and explosive, which helps him get to where the ball's going to make those plays. His cons, though, he's inconsistent in tackling. He drags down as a tackler more than a wrap up and drive down. He just kind of, like when you're a kid and you were trying to get your parents not to leave you, like to leave the house or anything, so you just attach yourself to their ankles and just kind of have them drag you around. That's kind of how he tackles. He lacks urgency and effort and pursuit at times. And that goes to both run game and tracking down a wide receiver. He's sus. He's sus.
He's sus. He's playing Among Us. He's sus.
He's I can't say this word. Susceptible. Jeez.
There you go.
Susceptible to play action. He bites hard on play action quite often, and he can't seem to find the balance between reading the backfield and staying in his coverage. So that's something that you definitely need to look out for. His route anticipation at the top of routes leads much to be desired. That probably goes to more watching film than anything. He isn't a very physical safety and will be consistently on contact during blocks when he's being blocked out of the run game. You won't really see him make much plays in the run. He's projected as a 3rd or 4th round pick. I believe that's probably where his value is, as a lot of upside as a safety just getting the ball, a ball hawk. But his downsides are pretty significant. He needs tackling work. He needs more time in the film room. Just a lot of coaching in general. But he definitely has the potential there to be a good ball hawking safety in the NFL.
Interesting. Hold on, I wrote this down in my notes and I could look for it real quick.
Do you not have a?
Well, I have it on my phone.
Oh, okay.
I know it's probably stupid, but
that's where I keep mine. I keep my stuff on my phone.
Okay, so I wrote down 3 key matchups. First of all, if you have Damian Harris or Jacoby Myers, you start them versus Houston, because if anything's going to happen in that game, it's those two are going to go off like usual. Feel bad for the Jets, man, because they're going to get pooped on by Keenan Allen. It's going to be really gross.
Yeah.
And Keenan Allen is just going to dominate that game. It's not even funny. What else did I have written down? Yeah. Start every single player on the Chiefs and the Raiders as well. That game is going to be another 40-30 game. I doubt that game is less than that. And finally, I wrote down, and this is just how I see it. I really think Christian Kirk is going to get more work this week versus Seattle. I know this is pretty late, but I feel like Christian Kirk's going to get more work this week because of that Hopkins Hail Mary. And I know this probably sounds stupid, and it may be stupid, but I feel like there's going to be even more attention on Hopkins than usual because that momentum. And I feel like Kirk's going to have a huge game tonight.
Also, I think if you have any
Bengals
receiver, you should probably start them against the football team.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you should be starting Bengals receivers almost every week with how Burrow just throws the ball around.
True.
I just feel bad. I feel so bad for Burrow, man. He's in Cincinnati. I feel so bad,
I feel like this is an every week
guy.
occurrence.
I feel like we have said that almost every week. I feel bad for Burrow.
The Seahawks
And
are currently winning against the Cardinals 7-0.
who scored the touchdown?
Metcalf,
Of course he did.
25-yard reception.
Damn. I
DK
still can't believe
Donkey
we.
Kong.
Nikhil Harry, bro, can't even beat out an undrafted receiver.
Yeah, imagine drafting Nikhil Harry over DK Metcalf.
And people talking about the Sonny Michelle draft where we drafted Michelle over Chubb and Lamar, and that's terrible, especially the Lamar part. But has there ever I've seriously the difference between DK gonna be when we do our top 10 ranking, he's gonna be a top 10 receiver.
Oh yeah.
Between DK and freaking Nikhil Harry is like a top 10 receiver versus a top. I wouldn't even put him in the top 150. Okay, like
What we need to do for that is look over the original recordings and then compare this is where I had this guy at the beginning of the season, like this is what I had in the top 10 at the beginning of the season, this is what I have in the top 10 now.
Oh boy, yeah. Oh my god, man.
Dude,
I hate to dog on Nikhil Harry because he's a cool guy. There's nothing wrong with him as a person, and of course I'm not saying that as a person. I just don't like watching him as a football player. Anyway, if I have nothing nice to say, I'm not going to say anything about it. Okay, I'm just saying that Kill Harry sucks. That's pretty much all I'm saying. He's a good person though. It's cool. Wouldn't want him on my football team.
I think that's it for today.
I think so.
It's only
I'm sorry if I was a little bit lower energy. I've had a freaking long
yeah,
week.
you're a tired boy.
I am very tired. I actually fell asleep when you were on your way back. I fell asleep. I woke up yeah, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna be going to bed here in like an hour. I have to do one thing on a Madden league and I'm done.
Not even gonna watch the game.
I might fall asleep watching it.
I mean, I fell asleep watching that. What game was I? It was last week. I remember I fell asleep watching a game. I don't remember what game it was though. It was just that bad of a game. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Keep up to the updates with us. I'll be putting my Twitter in the description since someone doesn't want me to put their Twitter in the description.
Fight me. Anyway, fight me.
I mean, we pretty much interact on Twitter all the time, so it won't be hard to find you.
Do we though? You won't know me. All right. I hope y'all enjoyed the episode, and sorry about being tired, boy.
Join the Madden League, please.
Yes, join the Madden League because it's just me and Brennan right now, and
don't be cringe.
He blitzes way too much and beats my ass. So can we not do that? Okay, thank you. All right, but yeah, see y'all next week on the Belichick's